Alrighty, we are ready with our next one, which is Ridge Racer Type 4, all special machines by FantasticFox. So, Fox, the floor is now yours.
Okay, this is Ridge Racer Type 4 for the PlayStation 1. I will be playing it on a PS2 because of faster disk loading speed, which will be faster for loading. We can enjoy this introduction for a little bit here. Definitely iconic. This was one of the later games for the PS1, so Namco had kind of figured out how to maximize the software for pretty good visuals for the time, and they've really figured out a good formula for the gameplay. So this is a really solid PS1 racing game, at least in my opinion. So yeah, let's get started. I will count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So this is, the category name is All Special Machines, and basically the way that this works is you run the Grand Prix for one team and unlock all the special machines. So the Grand Prix is 4 heats, 8 races. It says qualifying position, 3rd place. We're not going to get 3rd place. We need to get 1st place to compete against the special machines for every race. And I'm running Pack Racing Club, PRC, which is not the fastest, but it is the safest and most consistent. And basically, the reason for that is because a time loss on a little bit of speed is not as big as potentially losing a race. Losing a race means minutes lost, and we don't want to lose minutes. We want to lose seconds. So these first races, you'll notice, are kind of slow, 100 miles per hour, give or take. And it really starts picking up around the 3rd heat. The 4th heat is extremely fast, but it is an oval track, so it's not super complex. It's just about maintaining your cool on pretty tight turns that are pretty simple, but avoiding cars and that kind of thing. So 2nd place in the first lap on this race is pretty normal for PRC. I'm not driving super optimally. I'd be hugging walls a lot more if I was, but I'm mostly focused on driving safe, which I didn't do there. Okay. Should be pretty good at this point, unless I really mess up, which is unlikely. So yeah, to further explain the concept of the teams and the manufacturers, basically there are 4 teams in the game and 4 manufacturers. The 4 manufacturers play very differently. 2 of them are drift teams, which one of them I'm playing right now. So when you see me taking corners at a drift, that's because I'm driving a drift car. There are also 2 grip manufacturers, which are a little more kind of hopping along when you take sharper turns. And the teams determine kind of the stats. Basically, how the car handles is the manufacturer, and the stats of the car are based on the team that you pick. PRC is not super fast, but also the competition isn't super fast, and it is a little bit easier. Technically, DRT is the hardest, but also not the fastest, despite being the most difficult. RTS, Racing Team Solvaloo, is the fastest by a good amount, and second most difficult. Oof. I thought I made that and I didn't quite. So one nice thing about PRC, in addition to being a little slower, is they're easier to handle. RTS is a little more difficult. DRT is just pretty much bad handling. But the advantage... come on. Sometimes the AI is a little aggressive, like you saw there. They can just go from completely on the other side of the track to directly in front of you. It's a little bit busted on it, if I'm being honest. So there's definitely some RNG involved. When it comes to time trials, there is a good amount of RNG because we use the in-game timer, and the in-game timer is partially determined by RNG. So it's a pretty heavy RNG game. The AI can kind of be manipulated, but sometimes it's just they get in front of you and they stay in front of you. And then you bump them a couple of times and they get out of the way. No. Now, barely winning in the first heat is not a big deal, same with the third heat, but in the second heat, we can have a really unfortunate circumstance if I barely win, because it technically counts as a win when you get it, but for determining the car you get, it counts as getting second place, which we don't want second place. That would be a slower car and a much more difficult special machines race. Alright, that was not terrible. We had some bad AI for a little bit there. Oh, bad menuing.
You've got a new card.
So I probably lost about a second or two to menuing there because I chose to potentially save, didn't save. And thankfully, one thing that I'm saving time on is not having a save. If I had a save loaded, it would ask me at the start of every GP if I wanted to continue, and that takes a few seconds, and is a good deal, well, it's a few seconds slower. So one of the reasons I'm also running PRC is because I have recently switched controllers. I was running emulation with a DualShock 4, and I have since switched to console with a Netcon, which is a better but very different style of controller. Essentially, it twists down the center instead of having any kind of traditional turning via directional or analog stick. And if you want to see it, I recommend looking it up because it is a little unusual. So, 4th place first lap for Edge of the Earth is not terrible. I'm really hoping to get a good Brightest Night, because that's a course that I feel I've really started to shine on, and I have messed it up recently, and I kind of want to... I still won, but I want to get back to those, like, first place on the second lap runs that I've had recently on Brightest Night, which is a variation of this course. It comes in the 3rd heat. So yeah, first heat is pretty slow. 2 races. You can win, you win with 3rd place or higher. Second heat is 2nd place or higher, and a slightly faster car. And 3rd heat is faster still, but you have to place 1st place. And you have to place first place in the 4th heat as well. And that is a quite fast car. A little worried here. I'm fine. This is a good distance. I should be fine to get the good car. So, I guess I can talk about 100% at this point. The 100% category for this game, the record is currently over 53 hours. And that's because you unlock different cars based on how you place in the 1st and 2nd heat. So, there are 19 regular cars to unlock using various methods in the GPs, which you've got 16 GPs with 19 cars each. And then there's the special cars, which are the 20th car for each one. So you unlock 320 cars in 100%. This is getting tight. Oh, I'm a little worried at this point. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That should have been a drift. Oh, 5th place first lap. That is dangerous territory to be in. I will probably just focus on racing for the rest of this, if there's any donations. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very proud to be running for a charity that supports mental health. I do actually have mental health issues myself, bipolar disorder and ADHD. The ADHD, if you notice me trailing off sometimes because I get focused on the race, that's a factor there. But yeah, okay, so that should be good enough. We'll see in a second if I get the right car. Really hope I do. Oh my gosh, a 117. Yeah, that first lap was just miserable. And it should be Infinito, and it is. Okay, we're in good shape still. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to focus mostly on the racing for the third and fourth heat. If there's anything else in particular to mention, charities and such, donations and such. So we're looking for a third place first lap here, and not going to get it. And that was actually a pretty bad turn. It's still very possible to win, just not as optimal. I like having a lot of space in the last lap in case anything comes up. That's actually how to take that turn. Things like that, I don't like that. And I don't like the way that turn went, but it's okay. Okay, no problem. Oh no! Okay, so apparently the audio is not coming through for the host. Let me see if I can fix that. I hate to... I gotta see if it's gonna come through with the game audio as well. Yeah, it's
hopefully it's coming through.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay, let's go. This is gonna be a bad start. But that's okay. Shouldn't be an issue. This is my preferred course, as I was talking about earlier. This is Brightest Night, which I'm fairly consistent with. We're hoping for a third place first lap, which would be quite nice. Section. So I could have either braked or hit the car. It was either way a time loss there. But we made third on the first lap, which is okay. So now hopefully a first place on the second lap, and then a breezy third lap. Okay, well in first place on the second lap. Not terrible. And a 103. Alright, alright. Okay. So, it had its ups and downs, but ultimately won. Now this is the real challenge. On every single GP I do, I would say this is going to be at the level of the secret machines, or special machines races, or possibly higher. This course is heaven and hell, and it lives up to its name. It is a lot of fun, but it is very tight and a lot of grip and grip turns that you have to take that can really mess you up. Good wall bump followed by a bad wall bump. So basically there's a trick in this game to shifting when you hit a wall to minimize the amount of speed you lose. In Rage Racer, it's like a very intentional technique that you would go for to actually do well. In R4, it's a safety strat. Basically, if you're going to run into a wall, it's best to, that turn, it's so easy to take it too tight or too loose. So yeah, basically, you want to reserve any amount of bumping to just accidentally taking the turn wrong and correcting yourself by shifting when you hit the wall, which is pretty precise. Okay. If I can get a second on the second lap, I think I'll be in good shape. So yeah, that turn looks easy. It is very tricky because it looks like there's space, but you're really passing through this very small section. Because you've got stuff on the left and right as you pass through. Oh, don't tell me I'm gonna get first in the second lap. No, not good. The wall bump there. But I think if we can stay ahead of first place, or second place, for this section, should be good. Alright, not quite out of the woods if I really mess up this last turn, which is very possible. Okay. And now we're into the fourth heat, which is intense and yet a lot less intense than the previous race, because it's really just about maintaining consistently through the race as you pass cars, and there's no drifting, there's no grip turns, there's ideally, there's no shifting other than at the start, and no braking. You want to be taking the whole thing at full speed the whole time. So that's an example. I would have hit that wall if I hadn't shifted there. So part of it is also knowing, when you have to shift, or Preferably not brake or drift, but if you can take a turn shifting instead of doing that, should be fine. So yeah, running this course properly, you can see I'm in second place on the second lap of 6. So it's a lot less strict about doing it perfectly than Heaven and Hell is, because in Heaven and Hell you really have to take the turns well. It's a little less strict with PRC. In DRT, it's very much a lot more hell than it is heaven. So I should be starting to lap cars at this point, which is, I think, kind of a tradition in the Ridge Racer series for the oval courses, which started in Rage Racer, which was the third game in the PlayStation quadrilogy, the PS1 quadrilogy. Of which, not surprisingly, Ridge Racer Type 4 is the 4th game. Very lucky that we didn't get a big speed loss from bumping that car. Same there. I mean, it was a pretty much guaranteed win regardless so far at first. Okay, that's 1 GP down. So I've now gotten, it'll give me about unlocking the cars from that GP and being able to do the extra trials now. We get to skip the ending, thankfully. That would be a good amount of extra time if we couldn't. Oh no. I got worried. That was loading longer than expected. So we're picking Pack Racing Club again. This time we're doing Lizard. And you'll notice I pick manual transmission every time. Manual transmission is always faster in Ridge Racer. I think to incentivize driving in a more fun way. Plus it allows you to get a rocket start, which is, you know, basically just starting very fast. So yeah, you get a faster start. Your car is faster in general, and you have more control over how you take turns and stuff like that. So it is for the risky strat there, and paid for it. but it's not gonna happen. That's okay though. So yeah, you may notice that I can take turns with a lot of different intensity, and that's because of using the Edgecon, which has a good turning radius. It's not quite the same as using a racing wheel, but I think it's a little bit easier to get fast turns with, which you really need for Ridge Racer, because it is an arcade racer rather than a realistic racer. You have a lot of very silly tight turns that you wouldn't get in a realistic racing game. So you need to be able to turn one way and then turn the other very quickly. So, because of the rubber banding that happens at the start of the race, and rubber banding is a feature of this game throughout everything, you can get a faster second place than a slower first place if you do the rubber banding wrong. Well, I mean, pretty much if you do really good at first and then do really bad later, you'll get a faster time but a worse place because of the rubber banding of the cars. And one feature of that early on is being able to kind of ride a car ahead of you. If you get ahead of them right at the start, they can bump you along to give you a boost. And it's pretty difficult, especially in first-person mode, but I really prefer to stick to first-person mode. Third-person just feels wrong to me. It's also, there's not very many opportunities that you get for a good bump in the, or a good boost in PRC because of the way because of your speed. Because of your speed compared to the other cars at the start, you just don't get ahead of the cars that you really want to be getting a boost from. Almost ran into that wall. Okay. Another first heat out of the way. Another little bit of slow driving out of the way. Ah, I hate this.
You've got a new card.
As happens sometimes, I tried to shift up to 6th in the second heat, which there is no 6th gear in the second heat. But I recovered and got that rocket start. So yeah, what I was saying earlier about being able to do the rubber banding in such a way that you go faster at the start and slower at the finish. Technically, you could be safer by going slower at the start, not getting that rocket start, and taking your time. But that would be significantly slower than placing first and doing everything right the whole time. So that's how we go. That might be a possibility in 100%. I feel like rubber banding, I'm not super familiar with how to do best for slower cars in 100%, because obviously you want to place second or third as fast as you can. So it really requires a good understanding of rubber banding to optimize, and I'm not fully there yet. I haven't run 100, well, I casually ran 100% when I was a kid. This was back in 1999 or 2000 when this game came out. But I have not done a speed run of 100% yet. Just, I want to optimize it before I actually go for it. You know, I've tested it out a little bit and seen what's faster, but I don't feel I have a complete understanding of it yet. Okay, that's comfortably ahead. I should have no problem with that race. Now it just comes down to out of blue. Making sure I get the right car. got a minor boost there, but nothing too great. So you can see the 6th place car, if I would have stayed ahead of them, I would have had a sizable lead over where I actually ended up. So yeah, bumping into walls is potentially very dangerous in this game. At higher levels of play, it'll lose you a race, period. And even in PRC, if you do it a few times, you're in trouble. Fortunately, it's pretty rare for me. Another thing to know about this is that if you have the option of running into a wall versus running into a car, always run into a car. You will generally get less slowdown than if you run into a wall, which is the opposite of Rage Racer, in which running into a car can put you at an absolute standstill. I'm not sure why it's coded that way, but it can mess you up so terribly. So you gotta kind of switch gears when you're switching between the two games, between prioritizing wall versus car, depending on which one is less bad. Neither is good, but sometimes you get put in a bad position by the car ahead of you on turns that you have to take. I think this should be okay, depending on how I take that turn. Not great. And this turn coming up. Alright, I'm safe. I'm definitely safe at this point. So, I should get the car I need. No problem. Actually, don't save.
You've got a new car.
Yes. Mission is the car. So yeah, the rocket start in Heat 3 is especially difficult, and especially with the Netchcon, because you have to get up to 6th gear. There is an easier way to do it, but it is also slower. So I go for the faster way, because it's really not that bad usually. I'm fairly consistent with it. Although you can see that I missed it on that one. Ooh, okay. That was way closer than I would have liked. Whew. But that's what I was talking about with the AI. Sometimes they just get in front of you. You can try and get out of their way, but yeah.
Real. 3, 2, 1, go!
Almost missed that rocket start. That was very close. How I ended up taking that order, so yeah, they tried. So I'm hoping we get to see a little bit of the really goofy AI at some point, because sometimes it's just ridiculous the way that when it gets aggressive, if it's in the wrong spot, sometimes it's very silly. That was close. Oh, absolutely.
Will. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go! It's
So, one of the things I've mentioned about this track is it's one of the more difficult tracks in the game, and the special machines are, you get the special machines from beating them in duels, and they're generally the hardest races in the game, and different teams have different tracks that they race on. So the hardest to control cars and also the fastest cars at the end are for DRT, or Dig Racing Team. And 3 of those 4 races are held in Heaven and Hell, which is very difficult. They are, if you want to see those races, I would suggest checking out the category All Special Machines New Game Plus. While this is doing all the GPs from a new file to unlock all the special machines for one team. All Special Machines New Game Plus is all the special machines for all the teams, and it's just those races. It's much more intense than this. I have run it, and I've gotten a decent time on it. But it's a real challenge. Mostly because of those DRT races. Just fastest cars on this course against the fastest cars. It's really challenging. And again, I mentioned earlier, like, a reset if you lose a race is minutes lost. So you pretty much, to have any kind of competitive time, have to do it with no losses. Nope. Okay, time for this last little bit. That's how you actually take that turn. I think that's the first time I've taken it right on this run. I think I braked every other time, but you can make it through there without braking. There's a few turns that I brake on, because if you don't take them exactly right, you will hit a wall and mess yourself up real bad.
Will.
Ooh.
Three laps to go.
Oh, that was almost bad. I mean, not terrible, but...
Two laps to go. Okay, five laps. Keep it cool.
That was very close to that car and that one. Okay. Alright, that's halfway through the GPs. Now we're switching to grip cars. So you'll notice when I take turns, they're going to look a good deal different, especially starting with the first one, Tarazi, that really kind of hops around as it takes the turn. You'll see in a second.
Ridge Racer Type 4. Welcome to the real.
And you'll notice I'm taking little pauses between moving through selections in the menus. Those are necessary pauses, and it's very much about getting the timing right versus mashing the button, because it's a pretty big pause, and you can get a much better menuing time if you time it right rather than mashing, because mashing is slow. So, while the control of the drift cars is letting go of the gas and then hitting the gas again to initiate a drift, with the grip cars, you want to take the turn and start hitting the brakes as you take the turn. And you can let go of the gas or keep the gas on, it doesn't matter, it just affects how sharp the turn is. But the nice thing is, because sharper turns are kind of baked into hitting the brake, you can take some turns a lot easier that aren't quite ones that you would drift on in a drift car. Ones that you could do without braking or drifting, but which sometimes you have to brake or shift down on to prevent yourself from taking it wrong. braked a tiny bit there, but otherwise that was a pretty decent turn, especially considering I'm using Tarazi, which has worse handling than the Asurudo and Lizard, and I think Aj as well. I think it is the worst handling PRC car, PRC manufacturer. But because you can take the turns a lot easier, it's see, that I would have been drifting for a while there, and I didn't have to because I just took a short grip turn.
Really? 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go! It's time. Let's go!
There we go. And I think that was the first time I took that turn correctly. Well, optimally. You can take it correctly by just getting through without hitting a wall. Ideally, you want to not brake on that turn and a few others. Sometimes you can tell when you go into a turn and you have to pass a car that it's just not going to be ideal. Mostly when you have to go on the inside. Ideally you want to take a turn from the outside and in. Very normal for a racing game. Okay. One more first heat done. Soon I'll be done driving slow. So one of the things that's notable about the Ridge Racer series, I think something that people who are into the series really appreciate, is the soundtracks. They're pretty varied electronic music. This one's more of a jazz fusion album, but yeah, they've all got really good soundtracks. I think a pretty common experience for people who are into Ridge Racer is driving IRL with the soundtracks and, you know, driving fast. The car was very courteous and just let me right through. That actually turned out kind of nicely, even though it was a difficult turn with the car there. Okay, I should be in good condition for this race. I think I ended up in first by a decent amount. So fortunately, oh no. Fortunately, this course is fairly lenient because I have a lot of trouble with it. But they really kind of let you get away with making some mistakes here compared to the other tracks. I'm a little worried at this point. And this is one I absolutely can't get the worst car on because it's not possible to beat the special machine with the second best car. Alright, now we just gotta pray that I get a Starlight as my next car. Alright, I got my fingers crossed here. Okay, we're okay.
Wheel. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. 3 laps to go. It's showtime.
So yeah, that turn a second ago was a good example of hitting a car instead of hitting a wall, because if I didn't keep taking that turn the way that I did, I was definitely going to hit a wall. It's a very tight turn. So this course, Phantom Mile, that is very, very short. This is the course that you race 3 of the special machine races on at the end of this. 3 out of the 4. And it's one of the reasons I like to run PRC is because the special machines portion is very short. Ooh. I try to stop talking usually when I'm about to shift at the start of the race, but I did not there. It should be fine. It's bright as night. Okay. Should be fine. Alright, 103 there at the end. Not too terrible overall. fighting for 5th place is not where I want to be. Very bad first lap. 119. Ouch. I just had to take that save, just to be sure. Just to be sure. That was really close. Whew. I ended up going to save. Not surprising after
You've got a new car.
that.
Real. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. It's showtime.
So while Tarazi has generally worse handling early in the GP, they have possibly too good of handling here at the end. Issues on this race. We'll see how it turns out. I shouldn't have to redo it, that's the main thing. Okay, should be good now. Okay, still ended up not being an issue. Alright, just one more GP and then the special races, and we're gonna be done. I'll be excited to be out of early heats for sure. I don't like driving slow. I gotta go fast.
Welcome to the real. Real. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. It's showtime. Too fast to go.
And if you find yourself really enjoying the music from this game, I highly recommend the recent Arrange album that came out for the 20th anniversary, the Racer Type 4 Arrange album. It's got some really good arrangements of all the tracks from the game. Except I think the Pac-Man track, but we're not going to talk about the Pac-Man track. So you can see, even though these are both grip cars between the Tarazi and the Maj, they do control differently. This one's a little less hoppy and immediate turning, more of a smooth slowdown, which is more like grip cars in previous Ridge Racer games. This game was actually considered like a pretty big departure from the series up until it, and later Ridge Racer games kind of ran with this formula where it's a little more realistic than just all-out arcade racing where it's completely unrealistic. Ridge Racer Revolution, and Rage Racer are all very, very sharp turns that are very unrealistic. And this kind of started taking more of a middle ground. So people had mixed feelings about this one when it came out, but it really quickly grew on people, and it's a lot of people's favorite from the generation.
1, go! Here we go! It's time to let's go!
Okay, here we go. Last heat one, just about over.
You've got a new car. Wheel. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. It's time. 3 laps to go.
So you may notice me talking a little bit less here. I mean, obviously I've got a little less to talk about since I've covered a lot of the stuff about the game in general. Also, Aj, this manufacturer that I'm currently running, is my least played manufacturer in the game. So I'm a little wary of everything and trying to be extra careful. I generally play Assoluto and Tarazi because those are the two primary manufacturers for running any percent. So anytime I run any percent, I'm running Assoluto or Tarazi. So Lizard and Aj I don't do a lot. Lizard is pretty close to Assoluto, so it's not really an issue. Aj is kind of its own beast, and it throws me off sometimes, especially the special machine trials for DRT. Aj, if I'm going to reset on any of them, it's probably Aj and maybe Blizzard. Or for all special machines, New Game Plus. That's not for this category. I shouldn't reset against any of the special machines in this, because it's all Phantomile and Shooting Hoops, and those are two of my most played courses. So weirdly, I haven't done time trials in Brightest Night, and yet for some reason it's one of my better courses. I don't know quite why. We should be good for this course. I'm gonna stand up for a second. Oh, my legs getting a little stiff. Huh? Don't forget. Oh yeah. I absolutely have. So I'm gonna have this water that's by me in a second. So you may notice sometimes on Helter Skelter and Out of Blue, I shift down when I'm going uphill on that last section, and that's actually something that can boost your speed up above its max speed if you happen to do it right and you happen to be going the right speed when you enter that whole section. It's something I haven't done a lot on this run because it just hasn't worked out all the time. But that is a decent time save when it works. All right.
You've got a new card. Will. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. 3 laps to go. It's showtime.
Yeah, Ridge Racer 1 and 2 on PSP is pretty much all the tracks from Ridge Racer games up until Ridge Racer 5. So, because compared to the other Ridge Racer games, this actually has a decent number of tracks. I think about half or so of the tracks in Ridge Racer on PSP are from this game. And I have played a little Ridge Racer 2, but I just haven't gotten into it really yet. And I feel like it's a matter of time. I just need to do some stuff in Ridge Racer Type 4, like get some more time trials, do 100% and stuff like that, and then I can jump back into Ridge Racer 2. I also have to get back to Rage Racer at some point because I'm starting to have people take my records on Rage Racer, and I feel like I need to take them back. Yeah, the real big turn was Unbounded, and I think it's pretty universally panned as just they messed up. They had a different development studio doing it, and it just didn't have that magic anymore. I actually haven't played 7 at all. I've heard 7 is still pretty good, but I never got it for some reason, and now I don't have access to a PS3, so I kind of have to... Okay, that works. Until it messed me up. I think that's the first time I've ever jumped over a car on that section right there. Usually I jump over cars here if I'm going to. Yeah, well, one of the big changes that happened with our Racing Evolution on the GameCube is they added Nitro, which changes a lot of the strategy involved in how you race, whereas in the earlier games it's just, you know, how can you take turns and how can you optimize taking turns and all that. Whereas in the later games, you also need that factor of Nitro and where you're using it to optimize that as well. Yeah, it's basically it recharges faster on drifts. If you're drifting at the tail end of a nitro boost, you recharge it quicker. While I didn't play a lot of the later ones, I did play R Racing Evolution a good deal, which is, I think it's unique in the whole series in that it actually uses real cars. I think it's still very much... Oh no, here we go. This is it. This might be a loss. And it is. I was really hoping not to have any losses here. Especially on Brightest Night. I keep saying, oh, this is my best course, and absolutely just messed that up so bad. But if it was going to happen, it was going to happen with Aj, for sure. But yeah, I mean that was an example of the rubber banding where I was in a good position, at least a decent position, but messing up at the end, it'll kill you just every time. So yeah, that's a solid 3 minutes 30 seconds that's gonna get added to my time by messing up there. I guarantee I can't make a PB with that mistake in there.
Real. 3, 2, 1, go! 3 fast.
Okay. I think it's a little less stressful now. I'm starting to get a little sweaty. But there's definitely some pressure off at this point. Because all that's left is shooting hoops, which shouldn't be an issue, and the special machine trials, which also shouldn't be an issue. And if there is a restart in the special machines trial, it should be a pretty minimal time loss because the track is so short. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little difficult to maintain for a little over 2 hours. Oh yeah? How'd that go? Is that Arms 08? Oh, okay. There's a Ridge Racer speedrunner who goes by Arms 08 Yuki on speedrun.com. Okay. Yep. Yeah, we routed a bunch of stuff together for Ridge Racer. Really cool person. I guess since we're getting towards the end, I can give a big shout out to everyone in the Ridge Racer community. Alzeri and Randomy and Bobby Kaze. I'm forgetting people. But there's, a lot of good people who put in a lot of hard work and cooperate to compete, which is one of my favorite things about speedrunning. So, if you're interested in speedrunning Ridge Racer, I highly recommend checking out the Discord, which is linked on speedrun.com, and hopefully we'll see you there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, for sure. Okay, just the special machines, which should not be a big deal, but will be very fast. And there's going to be a little bit of menuing in here while I prepare the correct cars in the garage for running the extra trials.
Ridge Racer Type 4. Ridge Racer Type 4.
Okay, here we go. 4 races. 4 short races. I picked the wrong car. Okay. I was like, why am I not catching up? That was a full class behind the car that I was supposed to be using. Okay, there we go. That's 1 down. Nope, I almost did it again. I'm used to New Game Plus is the thing. New Game Plus, I've got all my cars, and that's just the ones that I have in the garage. It's the ones I need.
3 laps to go. Here we go. Go.
Okay. Now this next one's a change of pace. We're going to go into shooting hoops and race against the very fastest car in the game. But they're going to take it easy on me because it has to be possible.
3, 2, 1, go! Here we go!
I will. It's going to be right after the next race, so it's at the when I cross the finish line of the next race. And yeah, we didn't even see the other car really, other than at the start of that race. Alright, last one. And time's going to be coming up at as I cross the finish line. I think I already said that.
3, 2, 1, go! 3 laps to go. Here we go.
Okay, here it comes, and time. Alright. What was the time on that? Oh, well, 49 seconds over estimate, 2 minutes over my PB, which basically it would have been a PB had I not restarted that one race, but I mean that's how it goes. Alright, well, that's Ridge Racer Type 4, all special machines. Like I said, check us out on speedrun.com and in the Discord, and that'll do it for me. No problem.
Alrighty, so that is going to be our Ridge Racer Type 4 run done and dusted, with many thanks to FantasticFox. Next up is the McRae Rally 04 run, so we will be back very shortly, and yeah, we'll see you guys in a short while.